I put together a list of the 5 things that I wish I knew before my first real estate investment. My name's Joe Hardy, for those of you who don't know me. I have over 50 units in multifamily real estate, and I've built a portfolio of over $1 million in the last 4 years, and I've done it just all from income I've saved up from my job. So I wanna teach you guys how to do this too without having a ton of money to start with. Let's dive right in. So the first thing I wish I knew before I got started is you don't have to do it alone. I spent several years trying to figure out how to get started alone, and what I realized is I just don't have all of the skill sets that I need to be successful. I have about half of them, so I needed a business partner to come in and complement other skills that I'm just not great at. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses, so don't think you can do it alone or that you have to do it alone. I'm sure that whether it's your spouse or a family member or a business partner that you can trust is gonna be a great team member to come in. And especially when you guys are investing your own capital and you have 2 of you or more to invest your capital with, that just gives you that much more capital to be able to go and buy a bigger property or buy more properties so you can diversify early on. And so that actually leads me into my second tip, and that is that don't be afraid to diversify. I feel like diversification gets a bad name because it's just been overused so often, but diversification is probably something that has always worked and will probably always work. The reason is because if you really have everything invested into one property that has one unit and your tenant decides to just destroy your property and not pay rent, you're gonna have to evict them. You could lose your entire profit for an entire year or more if you just have one single family home and that's it. Now imagine instead of one single family home, you had a building that had 4 units in it and your other 3 tenants are all paying you rent, but that one tenant is deciding to not pay rent, destroys your property, and you go through the same thing, but now because you have 3 other sources of income coming in, you're probably actually still making money. So tip number 3 is that leverage is king. So you probably have heard that cash is king, and I do think that's true of anything that's not an investment, but leverage is how you build wealth, especially if you're not coming into real estate investing with $5-10 million. And I don't know about you guys, but I had nothing. I literally was in debt when I started real estate investing, so I had to use leverage. And here's how leverage works. Let's say you're buying a $100,000 property. You don't have to actually have $100,000 in cash. But let's say you put $20,000 in and it's a $100,000 property and it appreciates by 10%. You haven't gained 10% of $20,000. You've gained 10% of $100,000, which is $10,000, which means you actually just made 50% on your money. So the 4th tip that I wish I knew before I got started is turnkey is expensive. When my business partner and I first got started, we wanted something where we could just go in and rent it out. So we thought we wanted a turnkey property, but what we realized was if you're gonna buy a turnkey rental, you're gonna pay premium dollars and you're only going to be able to buy maybe 1 turnkey property, whereas you could have bought 2, 3, or 4 properties that needed work. That's one of the things you can do as an investor. You gotta remember that this really is a business. You have to treat it like a business. If you're just thinking you're gonna go and buy real estate and then just sit on the beach and let it grow, you're dreaming, and that's not gonna happen. You're gonna have to actually put work in. Sometimes that work doesn't mean physical work. Obviously you can hire contractors, but sometimes that work means just getting better tenants in place. Maybe just going in and operating the property better, meaning you're going to get back to tenants faster, but don't be afraid of a property that needs work, because that's where you're actually going to be able to get a good deal, get a good value for your money, and build wealth is by putting work in and improving the properties that you buy. So the final thing that I really wish I knew before I got started, because I actually spent $8,000 with a course that I learned nothing from. That tip is that there are no secrets in real estate. So I hope you guys don't spend that kind of money on a course that you're not gonna get the value from, or one of these mastermind groups that wanna charge $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to teach you the same things that you can learn in free YouTube videos or books that you can buy on Amazon for 20 bucks. There's no secrets. You literally can go to any county auditor's website and look up anything you want to know about a property. So many people have put great content out there. I really encourage you to go check out different YouTube channels, podcasts, books. At the end of the day, I think the reason that people look for secrets and they think that there's some valuable tip that someone's gonna have that they're gonna be able to pay money for is I think people will pay a lot of money to be lazy. Just understand that there's no secrets out there. There really isn't. It's really just hard work, learning from people who've already done it, and then honestly just getting started and making the mistakes that you're gonna make. Sometimes it's the mistakes themselves that actually make you really good at what you do in the future. So I hope you got value out of these 5 tips. Just remember, the easiest way to get started is just to start taking action. This is Joe with the Hardy Investor. If you guys got any value out of this video at all, feel free to reach out to me, send me a direct message. I will respond personally and answer any questions you might have. Several people have reached out and I'm very thankful that you gave me the opportunity to help you. And I helped a lot of people be able to avoid some of the mistakes that I made early on. So feel free to reach out to me and let's chat and see where you're at.